Hi guys, we're back with another relationship video, and today we are talking about 5 types of women you should never marry. Let's go. So the first type of woman you should never consider marrying is a woman who lacks commitment. And we all know the importance of being committed in a committed, exclusive, long-term connection. It is of the utmost importance. A lack of commitment is the number one reason why marriages fail. So if you have been contemplating about whether or not you should marry someone who doesn't show as much initiative and as much devotion as you do, and you've already experienced that, in the middle stages of the relationship, just before you get to the proposal stage, you begin to notice that there's more give than take, or a lack of equality. You understand? And so going forward, if you've been contemplating about whether your person is as committed as you, this is an individual you should not be marrying. When it comes to commitment, there should not be any doubt. That person should be given as much as you are. There should be like a great deal of equality when it comes to commitment in any connection. Without it, failure is due to arise. So if you are with someone who is not showing as much initiative as you are in your relationship, and you're probably better off. I promise you. Next, we have a woman who is dismissive. She does not take your emotions or your thoughts into account. Why? Because her resolutions and the way she says and do things matters more. Like, she always has a one up on you when it comes to some sort of rationale or just simple decision making. She dismisses you, even when you all are at odds. Well, this wouldn't happen to you if you hadn't done this. I wouldn't be feeling this way and giving you this energy if it's never accountability, which is so necessary for the healing process and growth in a relationship. And when she dismisses what it is that you're feeling, or accountability, whatever the cause is, if you are feeling dismissed and you have not felt it just once, maybe once or twice, you may get that energy just from being negative in any kind of connection. But if this is consistent and ongoing, just know that it will worsen as your marriage continues. Like, you need someone who is going to be great at listening and understanding. And when you understand, there's no room for dismissal and making the person feel less valid. You understand what I'm saying? So if you are with someone who is giving that whole dismissive energy, you probably shouldn't marry him. The next woman that you should not attempt to marry is a woman who is unreliable. You have this going on, you need this to be done, or going on this important activity or whatever your responsibilities are, you need that to be maintained. Okay? And if that person is not there in their position to do that, I believe in fairness and equality when it comes to relationships. So no assignment should just be given to one person. But there's going to be just different times that you two may have to take in responsibility to get whatever duty or responsibility that is taken care of. And if your person isn't meeting that, they're not there for you, just say not paying the bills on time or making sure they are paid, balancing the money, just handling major responsibilities that keep you afloat. Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I was so busy doing this. Da, 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 da. Like, you cannot rely on them. And when someone is unreliable, it may not be because they don't care as much. They just may not have a whole sense of, they may not be where you may be at. We all grow up differently. We all become into our own adult person in different ways. So they may not have had that structure to where they can be responsible to the point to they become reliable. In order to be a reliable human, you must very much so be very responsible, and that takes a great deal of maturity and just simple planning. If you're not, then just plan out your day. Just take an initiative to make sure everything is running smoothly in your relationship. So if you can't rely on your person, you're going to have a lot of conflict. It'll be like a domino effect of just little annoyances that build into something bigger, and you'll probably end up getting divorced over that in the long run. The next type of woman you should never consider marrying is someone who is disrespectful. Now, she may not have a whole lot of respect for herself, and if she does, that's even worse. Because if you are showing high levels of respect to yourself because you have a high sense of self-esteem and confidence, and you're self-assured, but at the same time, you're hella disrespectful to your person, says a lot about you. Perhaps you should reevaluate your characteristics. If your person is giving you nothing but, I'm talking like utter disrespect, as though you're not even the person that they should be marrying, it's on another level, and then they come back and try to, make it all cute for you. Oh, well, I made dinner tonight. I made steak and, whatever. Or I bought tickets to go see, the Celtics or whatever. They'll butter it up because they know they have been blatantly disrespectful. And guess what? Even if you check that person, I don't know if it's arrogance or just being an egoist, they are far less likely to change, because being disrespectful is what gives them that power. It fuels whatever it is in them to keep them where they are. So if they're not popping off at the mouth, giving you all sorts of negative energy and vibes, and just being completely out of pocket, they're not going to feel complete of who they really are, who they think they should be. You understand? So what they're giving you is a whole lot of negativity. I promise you that disrespect is not going to last very soon, because you would have to be a man or woman of high tolerance and patience to deal with someone who is always going to give you disrespect in some way or another. That is definitely the type of woman you should never consider marrying. And lastly, being overly or under dependent. Now, it's one thing to have all of your things together, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, economically, having things together at a certain degree. But if that person is trying to really show and prove and make it very well known that, hey, I have you in my life, but I don't need you. You understand what I'm saying? I have what I have through my accomplishments. Love is secondary to me. So for you to be in my world it should be a prize for you. Okay? So at the end of the day, I don't need you because I already have. I already feel complete. That is the type of woman you do not ever want to even consider dating, because you're always going to become second. Her needs are already met. If you can't do it, someone else will. Again, I don't need you. You always want to feel needed in some form in your relationship. That's the purpose of two people coming together in the first place, right? Because you need their affection. You need their time, their energy, their warmth, their hugs, their kisses. You need that. So when someone is overly dependent to where they can do without, allow them to. Now we talk about the type of woman who is underdependent, to where she always needs you for everything. She's calling you at work. Hey, and I need this, and can you get me this? Or I need a new vehicle because I'll be doing this now. And there's always a need. Sure, we should be there for our person, but to a certain extent, because what you don't want to do is to cripple them into becoming so codependent They don't know how to fend for themselves. And I've seen cases where it has been really bad, like not even being able to function on their own, especially if the individual is unemployed. That's when you would get the worst out of your person, because they've already established some sort of mindset that you're going to be there and I can always call on you. Therefore, when I'm in need, I need my needs met. Otherwise, you get the sulking, the attitude, the disrespect, and your relationship is never going to grow to where it needs to be. If one person is doing far more than the other, like, especially if it's underappreciated and the love and affection or whatever is not being reciprocated, come on now. The whole codependency thing can be a beast. I've dealt with it. I let that go. Okay? It can be draining, quite draining for the other person when they're trying to hold up everything in the relationship. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you are contemplating taking your relationship and connection to the next level, just a little food for thought. Because when you get married, those problems, those negative traits and characteristics, they don't just like go away like that. They shouldn't even be present when you get to those stages to where you're not looking back to go back to where you were. You understand? There should be changes being made. Actively changing, because they want a healthy connection that's going to be for the long haul. Yeah, that's when you know you're with the right person. When you can see their growth just in their behaviors and their characteristics. That's the person you want to be with. But if she is displaying those types of behaviors, you're on your own. You have been forewarned. Okay? Just thought I'd share that with you all. Hopefully this has been insightful. All of my information will be linked down below if you need more relationship advice and going into a higher connection of your relationship. Yeah. I thank you so much for joining me always. Until next time.